Most people see money as a math problem. They believe the equation is simple: hours worked, effort, dollars earned. They spend their lives trying to increase the inputs on one side of that equation, hoping for a proportional increase on the other. This linear approach is a trap. It chains your income directly to your time. And since your time is finite, your income potential becomes finite as well. This is the path of the hamster on the wheel, running faster and faster, only to stay in the same place. It is a game of addition-subtraction, a game you can never truly win. There is a better way, a more powerful way. Instead of seeing money as simple math, you must see it as architecture. Think of your financial life not as a single number on a balance sheet, but as a complex, interconnected system. Like a well-designed building, it should have a solid foundation, efficient plumbing, robust electrical wiring. Each component must work in concert with the others to create a structure that is strong, scalable, self-sustaining. This is the difference between being a bricklayer, trading your time for a wage, and being an architect, designing a system that builds value even when you are not physically present to lay the next brick. This shift in perspective is everything. It moves you from being an employee of your own life to being the CEO of your financial destiny. An architect does not concern themselves with hammering every nail. They focus on the overall design, on the integrity of the systems, and on how each part contributes to the function of the whole. When you view your money through this architectural lens, you stop asking, how can I work more hours? And start asking, how can I build a better system? The first question leads to burnout. The second question leads to freedom. It is a fundamental reframing of your relationship with wealth. This essay will give you the tools to become that architect. It will introduce a simple framework, the 7 M's filter, to analyze and improve your financial structures. We will expose the ghost in the spreadsheet, the invisible forces that sabotage your progress. And most importantly, we will show you how to replace the exhausting arithmetic of labor with the exponential power of leverage. It is time to stop counting the hours you work and start designing a system that works for you. The goal is not just more money, but more life. To build a powerful money system, you need a blueprint. The 7 M's filter is that blueprint. It is a diagnostic tool designed to help you analyze any financial decision. It helps analyze any business model. It helps analyze any income stream. It breaks down the complex architecture of wealth into 7 simple, understandable components. By running your ideas through this filter, you can quickly identify weaknesses. You can spot opportunities for improvement and ensure you are building a system that generates leverage, not just activity. These 7 M's are your new checklist for smarter, more strategic financial choices. They move you away from pure labor and toward intelligent design. Here are the 7 components of the filter. Each one represents a critical system within your financial architecture. A weakness in any single area can compromise the entire structure. The goal is to strengthen each M to build a resilient, scalable, wealth-generating machine. Mindset. Mindset is your core belief system about money. Mindset is your belief system about risk. Mindset is your belief system about scale, the foundation for everything else. Models. Models are the strategic frameworks you use to generate income. Examples: hourly work. Examples: product sales. Examples: affiliate marketing. Mechanisms. Mechanisms are the tools you use. Mechanisms are the processes you use. Mechanisms are the automations you use. Markets are the specific groups of people you serve and who pay you for your value. Message is how you communicate that value to attract and convert. Margin is the profit you keep from each transaction, the fuel for your system. Momentum is the force that makes your system grow faster and easier over time. Using this filter is straightforward. Before you start a new project, ask a question for each M. Before you commit to a new income stream, ask the same questions. What is the underlying mindset required for this to succeed? Is the model scalable, or is it tied to my time? What mechanisms can I use to automate this? Is the market large enough to support my goals? Is my message clear and compelling? Is the margin high enough to be worthwhile? Does this activity build momentum for the future? Answering these questions brings clarity. It shifts your focus from, can I do this? To, is this the right system to build? Every entrepreneur and freelancer has a secret companion. It lives inside their financial documents, it lives inside their project plans, it lives inside their profit and loss statements. I call it the ghost in the spreadsheet. This entity represents all the hidden, uncounted costs that drain your resources and sabotage your success. Your spreadsheet might show a healthy profit, a positive number that makes you feel productive and successful. But the ghost feeds on what is not on the page: lost hours, mental exhaustion, missed opportunities, systemic flaws that do not have a dedicated cell in your Excel file. The ghost is a master of disguise. It looks like doing it all yourself to save money, low-value work eating your time. It looks like a low price point to attract customers, but thin margins leave no room for growth marketing error. It looks like a complex, customized service for a single client, but it hides non-scalability and one-off traps. The ghost makes you feel busy and productive while consuming your time, your energy, your focus. To exercise this ghost, learn to see the invisible. You have to expand your definition of cost beyond simple monetary expenses. Time is a cost. Complexity is a cost. Stress is a cost. Lack of scalability is a cost. Every manual, repetitive task that could be automated or delegated lets the ghost win. Every misaligned, non-scalable yes makes the ghost stronger. Drag hidden costs into the light. Give them the same weight as rent software subscriptions. Start by adding new line items to your analysis. Ask, what is the time cost in hours per week? Ask, what is the complexity cost in mental energy and error potential? Ask, what is the scalability cost? Can this multiply without multiplying my involvement? Quantify them. Give them a name and a presence. You force the ghost out into the open. A project that looks profitable on paper may be a massive liability once you account for 15 hours of manual admin per week. Start making decisions based on true cost, not just spreadsheet numbers. Section 4. The power of leverage, multiplying your efforts, not your hours. The antidote to the ghost in the spreadsheet and the tyranny of manual labor is leverage. Really. Leverage is the strategic use of systems to achieve a disproportionately large output from a small input. It is the difference between trying to lift a boulder with your bare hands and using a long lever to move it with minimal effort. In the world of money, most people are stuck trying to lift the boulder with their own strength, their time, and their labor. The architect, however, looks for the longest lever they can find. They understand that the goal is not to work harder, but to apply force more intelligently. There are 4 primary forms of leverage that you can begin to build into your financial architecture immediately. The first, and perhaps most important, is systems leverage. Repeatable processes, checklists, workflows. A well-documented system allows you to delegate tasks, effectively reduce errors, and ensure consistent quality without your direct involvement. Script for handling customer inquiries. Step-by-step guide for onboarding a new client. A system is a business asset that works for you 24/7. It turns chaotic, person-dependent activity into a smooth, predictable machine. The second form is capital leverage. This is the most traditional form where you use money to make more money. However, this does not have to mean complex stock market investments. It can be as simple as strategically investing in a piece of software that saves you 10 hours a month. It could be hiring a virtual assistant to handle administrative tasks, freeing you up to focus on high-value work. It could mean running a targeted ad campaign that brings in leads while you sleep. Capital, when used correctly, is a tool to buy back your time and to multiply the reach and impact of your efforts. The final two forms are people and technology leverage. People leverage is about more than just hiring employees. It is about building a network of partners, collaborators and experts who can bring skills and resources you do not possess. One strategic partnership can open up an entire new market that would have taken you years to penetrate alone. Technology leverage is the use of software automation tools and digital platforms to amplify your actions. A simple email autoresponder can nurture thousands of potential customers simultaneously, doing the work of a massive sales team. When you combine these four types of leverage, the results are explosive. You are no longer just one person. You are the conductor of an orchestra of systems, capital, people, and technology. Section 5. A practical plan. 3 steps to install leverage. Today, understanding leverage is one thing. Implementing it is another. The concept can feel abstract and overwhelming, leading to inaction. The key is to start small, with concrete, manageable steps. You do not need to rebuild your entire financial life overnight. Instead, you can begin by making small, incremental improvements that systematically replace your labor with leverage. Here is a simple 3-step plan you can use this week to identify and fix a weak point in your system and begin the shift from being a laborer to being an architect of your wealth. Step 1 is to map your system. For the next 5 business days, become an obsessive observer of your own work. Take one core process that generates income, fulfilling a client, project managing your e-commerce store, creating content, and document every single step involved. Write it all down. Note the time each step takes. Be brutally honest. Which tasks are repetitive? Which ones cause the most frustration? Where are the bottlenecks? By the end of the week, you should have a detailed map of how your time is actually being converted into money. This map is your starting point. It makes the invisible visible. Step 2 is to apply the 7MS filter to your map. Go through your documented process and analyze it through the lens of the 7MS. Ask pointed questions. Mindset. Does my belief that only I can do it right prevent me from delegating models? Is this entire process based on a non-scalable time for money model? Mechanisms. Which of these manual steps could be automated with software? A mechanism. Markets. Am I spending too much time on low-value customers? A market segment. Message. Is a confusing message causing endless customer questions that I have to answer manually? Margin. Are my prices so low that I cannot afford to hire help? Momentum. Does completing this process lead to more work, or is it a dead end? This analysis will reveal the weakest link in your chain. Step 3 is to fix one thing. Do not try to fix everything at once. Choose one high-impact, low-effort change based on your 7 Mills analysis and implement it. This is your first leverage experiment. Perhaps you decide to use a scheduling tool to eliminate back and forth emails, a mechanism. Or maybe you create a standard frequently asked questions document to send to new clients, a message or system. It could be as simple as raising your price by 10% to improve your margin. The key is to pick one thing, implement it, and then measure the result after a few weeks. Did it save you time? Did it reduce your stress? If it worked, you keep it and move on to the next small fix. This iterative process is how you systematically build a fortress of leverage, one brick at a time. Section 6. From labor to leverage, the story of a system builder. Let's make this real with a story. Consider Sarah, a talented graphic designer who ran her own freelance business. She was good at her job, and her clients loved her work. From the outside, she was a success, but on the inside, she was drowning. Her days were a chaotic blur of client calls, design revisions, invoicing, and chasing payments. Her income was directly tied to the hours she was in front of her computer. If she took a vacation, her income stopped. Her spreadsheet showed a decent profit, but the ghost was in full control, feeding on her time and energy. She was a classic laborer, trapped in a system of her own making. Feeling burnt out, Sarah decided to try a different approach. She spent 1 week mapping her entire client project process, from the initial inquiry to the final file delivery. The map was a mess of repetitive tasks and bottlenecks. She saw she was spending nearly half her time on non-design activities, answering the same questions from new leads, manually creating proposals, reminding clients to pay their invoices. She was the system, and the system was broken. Her mindset was that she had to personally handle every interaction to maintain quality. Then she applied the 7MS filter. The diagnosis was clear. Her model was pure labor for money. Her mechanisms were almost entirely manual. Her message was not clear enough. Her margin was too low to afford any help, and she had zero momentum. Each project was a fresh start. Armed with this clarity, she decided to fix just one thing first. She focused on the mechanism of her client onboarding. She focused on the message of her client onboarding. She created a detailed, frequently asked questions page on her website, and she set up an automated email sequence for new inquiries. The result was immediate. The number of low-value inquiry calls dropped by 70%. The clients who did book her were better informed and required less handholding. This one change freed up 5 hours a week. She used that time not to take on more clients, but to build her next piece of leverage, a set of pre-made design templates, a new model. She then raised her prices, margin improved, and she hired a virtual assistant for 2 hours a week to handle invoicing. Within 6 months, Sarah was earning more money while working 20 hours less per week. She had stopped being just a designer and had become the architect of a business. The ghost in her spreadsheet had been evicted. Section 7. Upgrade your operating system, a call to action. You are at a crossroads. You can continue down the familiar path of linear effort, treating your financial life as a simple math problem to be solved with more hours and harder work. You can keep wrestling with the ghost in the spreadsheet, wondering why your growing revenue never seems to translate into more freedom. This is the default setting for most of the world. It is a path of exhaustion, of trading your finite life for finite dollars. It is an outdated operating system that was never designed for the world of infinite leverage we now live in. Or you can choose to install an upgrade. You can start today to become the architect of your own financial system. This is not about getting rich quick or finding a magic bullet. It is about a fundamental shift in thinking from labor to leverage, from activity to architecture, from doing to designing. It is about recognizing that your most valuable asset is not your time itself, but your ability to design systems that multiply that time. This new operating system is built on the principles of the 7MS filter, designed to systematically eliminate waste and build scalable assets. The change does not require a massive leap of faith or a huge investment of capital. It begins with a single, deliberate action. It starts with the decision to see your work not as a series of isolated tasks, but as a system that can be observed, analyzed, and improved. Your first step is not to quit your job, or launch a massive new venture, your first step is much simpler. It is to choose one process, one income stream, and put it under the microscope. Your mission is to find one point of friction and replace it with a small piece of leverage. So here is your call to action. Do not just finish this essay and go back to the old way. Start today. Pick one core task in your work life. Map it out. Run it through the 7 questions of the 7 MS. Filter. Find the weakest MS. Then, identify one small change you can make this week to improve it. Will you automate an email? Will you create a template? Will you delegate a $5 task? Pick one. Do it. Measure the result. This is how the revolution begins, not with a bang, but with a single, intelligent click of the mouse. Upgrade your operating system. Build your machine. Reclaim your life.